Good morning, everybody. It is me, and we are here for our daily live stream. So, while I'm waiting for my chat to pop up, let me just remind you that my name is Angie Atkinson, and on this channel, I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. So, if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button and we'll get going. All right. So here's the thing. Today is Thankful Thursday. So let's all talk about things we're thankful for real quick. All right. Today I am thankful for people in my life who understand me, including you guys. Hello, Jillian. Good morning, Tommy. Good morning, Laura, Malta. I'm thankful for all of you. Good morning, January. Welcome back. Shannon O'Brien in the house says hello this Thursday. It looks sunny. Not so sunny over here, but still funny. Sonia Clark is in the house. Hello, Sonia. How are you? So, what am I grateful for today? I'm grateful for you guys. I'm grateful for my home. Grateful for this new YouTuber I found who's helping me figure out how to organize my home all by myself. Grateful for lots of things. Dora is here, says good morning from California. Good morning, Dora. She says, let's see what she says. She says, today I'm thankful for you. Back at you, honey. Thank you so much. Angie L says, good morning, Angie and Tribe. Today I'm thankful for everything you do, and I am thankful for you being here. Thank you so much. Good morning, Mr. Malta. How are you, my friend? Says good morning to myself, Jillian, Tommy, and all. Ms. Colleen, where did she go? I just saw it. Hold on. There it is. The beautiful and talented Colleen is in the house. She says, good morning, Angie and everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Today, I'm thankful for all of you. And Colleen, I want to say something else. I'm thankful for you today. I saw some of your awesome posts that you put up in Span yesterday. Colleen's one of our admins who's amazing. And really good stuff. Thank you so much. You're so balanced. And considering all you've been through, you're very insightful, and I really appreciate you every day. Thank you. And Malta, you already know how I feel about you, but I'm going to tell you one more time. I'm grateful for you every single day. You make our chats go so much smoother, and I don't know what I would do without you. Thank you for being here, my friend. All right. Back to the program. Ms. Ruby is here. Hello, Miss Ruby. She says, I'm grateful for lessons learned. Back at you. That's good stuff. I'm glad to hear that, Miss Ruby. I'm always happy to be part of that. Ooh, Shannon O'Brien says, thanks for the agoraphobia video. I think I have driveway phobia and doorbell phobia. Tell you what, I feel you on that one. You know what's interesting? I'm working on the video for today. I think that what we probably experience more often than agoraphobia is called social anxiety disorder, which is similar but different. So I'm going to kind of dig into that a little bit today, as well as some options for getting, ways that we can get past that. And I'm actually thinking this might be an extended series. I won't, obviously, I'll still focus on other stuff too, but I think over the next few weeks, I'll be making an extended series on anxiety and how to get through it, because I think that's one of the things. I don't even know that we all realize we have anxiety sometimes, but like one of the things I have is I won't leave the house unless I am dressed and have my hair and makeup done to a certain extent. And I kind of overcame that a little bit when I did I used to do those morning videos with no makeup and with my hair all crazy from being asleep. So there was that. But yeah. Anyway, Ms. Laura Curley is in the house, and she says, I'm thankful for my boyfriend trying to get better and not drink. That is important, and that is definitely something to be grateful for, my friend. Ms. Colleen says, good morning, and hugs back to you, Malta. Deborah Thurman says, good morning, tribe. Hello, Deborah. Grateful for all of you and beginning to feel again. Oh my gosh, I totally get you on that. Don't we go numb with narcissistic stuff? The way that they mentally torture us sometimes. Oh, it's rough. But certainly I can relate to that, and I'm glad you're here, Deborah. Dora says, good morning, Malta. Tommy D says, Malta, my my man Malta, what's up, baby boy? Tommy, you're so funny. Julie K. Lilly is in the house. She says, been listening all morning to your YouTube videos on dissociation. Oh, last week my narc whacked me across the face with a wound-up wet towel, and I felt no trauma from it. He said, get over it. Sweetie, you need to get out of there. That's violence. That's violence. You are dissociating. It's very dangerous, but that could become very serious. The thing about whacking a person in the face with a wound up wet towel is that it hurts horribly. It's like it's almost, I mean, you could really get hurt physically. And I'm worried about you, Julie. Talk to me. Tell me what's going on. Is that a thing that he's done before? Has he ever struck out at you physically, or is this a new thing? Life's Revival is in the house. Good morning, Life's Revival. Welcome back, honey. It says, good morning, all. Lauren G says, morning, all. Hello, Lauren. Woke up feeling moody, so I'm practicing gentle self care and already feeling relieved. Grateful for all of you beautiful souls to share with this morning. I love that. Good morning, Lauren. And that's exactly what we have to do when we feel moody, when we feel kind of sad, kind of down. If we take care of ourselves, gentle self-care, it's a beautiful thing and it works. Yes. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm grateful for you today. Jillian. Jillian says, I'm grateful for waking up, not having to walk on eggshells, knowing that I can create my own reality and that the narcissist does not define me. Yes, indeed, my friend. You are so insightful today. I love it. Love it. You're insightful every day. What am I talking about? Denise Unrain is in the house. Good morning, Denise. She says, good morning. I'm thankful for my kids, parents, friends, and the beautiful weather. Love it. Love it. Malta says, I am well, Angie, and I am grateful to spend my mornings with everyone here. Me too. Thank you so much, Malta. I appreciate you. All right, let's see here. Madeline Gutierrez in the house says, good morning, Angie and Rumies. So thankful for you all, and we are thankful for you too and your lovely insights every day, Miss Madeline. Glad you're here. Thanks for being here. Eddie knows is back. Hey Eddie, how you doing? Says, hey guys, God bless. Back at you, honey. Colleen says, thank you, Angie. That means so much to me, and so do you. Love you, lady. Love you right back. Thank you, Colleen. I appreciate you. Julie K. Lilly says, I knew that this was not okay, and I'm so not okay. I'm grateful for all of your videos, and they are so helpful. I'm so glad to hear that, Julie, and I hope that you're working on an exit strategy, honey. We are on your side. Malta says, good morning, Dora. I'm doing well. Tommy D, how are you? Yep, Tommy D says, wow, Julie, that's crazy. Oh, my. Yeah, exactly. Eddie Knows says, what up, Tommy boy? Tommy D says, I'm cool. Susie Bessie is here. Hello, Susie. Welcome. She says, hello, sunshine from the Cornhusker State. Right on. Right on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Jade O'Neill says, good morning. I am grateful that I have been able to break the cycle of abuse for my kids and teach them a healthy balance of empathy and self-love. That is the best news I've heard all day. Excellent, excellent, Jade. I love that. It is beautiful, and I'm grateful that you shared it because that is what we all have to do. We have to break the cycle of abuse. If you really, many of us, not all of us, but many of us, if we look back in the generations in our family, we can see a cycle of abuse and it comes all the way through to us. And then we have a choice. We can continue it or we can stop it and change history for our families. And that's what you guys are doing. And I'm so proud of each of you for that. All right. Tommy D says, what up, Eddie? Denise says, also thankful for getting stronger because of you. And I am thankful for you. Thank you so much, Denise. Dora says, I'm doing well. Great news, Dora. Julia Richardson is at work today. She says, still getting gaslighted from the histrionic woman sitting next to me, near me. Julia, that must be very frustrating. You want to talk about it? I don't know if you can talk. Excuse me. I don't know if you can talk at work, but if you can tell us all about it, because I'll try to give you some help with getting through it. Obviously, Gray Rock helps, but fill me in, girl. Gregory Ritchie is in the house. Hello, Gregory. How you doing, honey? He says, I really appreciate your sage advice in dealing with toxic people. Thank you. I have dealt with a few in my own time, more than a few, unfortunately, but here we are. And I'll tell you one thing, I don't put up with crap anymore. Not for long anyway. Life Survival says, I'm grateful and a little devastated. Oh, sweetie. A little grateful and a little devastated. My ex passed away last Friday. I'm so sorry. And I totally feel you on that sense. Here's the thing. When your narcissist passes away, it can be very confusing because part of you still loved that person. Part of you, feels bad, wonders, could I have done something different? Could I have changed it? But part of you is like, that's a relief, right? Sometimes, not all the time. Sometimes you just feel guilt. Life's Revival, I'm so sorry for your loss, and I totally understand the confusing feelings and the grief that you must be going through. If you'd like to talk about it, I'd like to hear about it. No pressure. Just know that I'm here and I'm sending strength and positive energy your way, and I hope everyone here will do the same. Kingdom Princess says, good morning, survivors. Love to you all. Back at you, Kingdom Princess. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tommy D says, I'm so sorry, Life's Revival. Lauren G says, live stream saying offline. Can anybody refresh? I'm sure Malta's already on that. I don't need to tell anybody. Shannon O'Brien says, we have an appointment with the school psychologist Friday. My son seems to be bouncing back. Okay, very good, very good. Happy to hear that, Shannon. Thank you for updating me on that. Any more news from NARCMA? Jillian says, agoraphobia is real. I suffered it and to an extent still prefer to stay home. Yeah, me too. I think, and I'm not positive, but I think that most of us, and maybe even you, Jillian, it could partially just be the social anxiety disorder, which is a little bit different. But then, some people will, some psychologists and stuff, they will diagnose them interchangeably. So, but they are a little bit different. And I think, based on what I've researched, I think we are more likely to have social anxiety disorder unless there are other factors in play, which I'll talk about later. Okay. Dora says, if you don't feel like putting makeup on, at least put lipstick on and sunglasses. Same thing. Totally agree. I've done that many times, many times. Totally agree. Tommy D says that is straight bull crap. I assume you're talking about the slap in the face thing. Tommy, let me know. Malta says, Lauren, oops, hold on, I lost my place. Malta. Lauren G says, I'm so glad to hear that it's working and that Malta says to Lauren G, I'm so glad to hear that it's working and that you're able to join us this morning, as am I. Let's see here. Stop the Chaos says, I watched your video with Dad surviving divorce last night. He said something that really struck a nerve. Over 20 years, she basically told him that she didn't love him and he didn't realize it. Me too. It shocks me. I'll tell you something. It does shock you. But when you're in the middle of it, like, as you know, it's confusing because sometimes they also tell you that they love you or they love something about you, like things you do for them, stuff like that. And because of the fact that the whole Jekyll and Hyde thing happens where they're like up and down and in and out and they turn into different people and all this stuff, it's really confusing. It's shocking. But you have to remember that you've been in this situation where you're being kind of directly abused on an emotional level. They are directly attacking you so often. They are directly they're emotionally manipulating you from very early in the relationship, and then they sort of brainwash you. So yeah. And like Oprah and Maya Angelou, and even though she's passed, but they said it around the same time, if they tell you who they are, you have to believe them. And that's hard for us, but it's something we have to be aware of. Yeah. Breon Garner and his beautiful face are in the house. He says, good morning, strong survivors. Good morning, Breon. How are you doing today? Always happy to see you. Angie L says, Angie, can you tell me if it's possible to go from PTSD to CPTSD to now agoraphobia? As I've had a traumatic life change to my livelihood 4 years ago, and 1 year after PTSD, I let the narc back in. Okay. So I think that I think a lot of survivors have what would be called CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Some might also have PTSD, especially if they were being directly physically abused at some point. Agoraphobia can be a complication of that, as can social anxiety disorder. So yeah, I think it's definitely possible to experience that sort of a transition. The social anxiety disorder as a side effect of the PTSD or CPTSD. And I'm going to talk, like I said, I'm going to talk more about that. Letting the narc back in is definitely going to make it harder for you to recover, Angie L. Yeah. Eddie Knows says, my question is, if the narcissist is a parent, will they attempt to hoover until they die? Not in my experience. In my experience, they give up eventually. But that depends on, I guess, how much of a life they had outside of you. Yeah. Hope you're okay, Brianne. I see that you're retracting your message. Let's see. Shannon O'Brien says, I'm grateful that I'm able to self-reflect. It started when I knew in my heart that I was good after I had been shamed when I was very young. Ironically, the narcissist behavior gave me this gift. Isn't that interesting? That is a very good way to see it. So, if you are, when you recognize that you're dealing with a narcissist and that you're not a horrible person and that you're not one of these people who, I mean, nobody really deserves abuse at all. When you realize that you have legitimate thoughts and feelings and that people do really think you're a cool person outside of whoever your narc is, and stuff like that, and that you are, as Shannon says, good, it can be a huge relief. And it's certainly sometimes the extreme narc behavior that makes you go, wait a minute, it can't possibly be me. This is not normal. And then you start researching and then you find me or whoever you find, and you realize that you're not crazy after all. So that's a great, I think it's a really good, it's a really good way to look at the world and to see that, okay, well, I went through this and that sucks, but here's a silver lining. Now I can self-reflect. And I've said this to you guys before, you wind up being the strongest person you know in real life when you really get through it. And whether we were meant to go through this or not, I mean, there are lots of different people who will tell you that's a soul contract we had with somebody and all this stuff. I don't know about any of that stuff. But what I do know for sure is that whether for whatever reason you go through it, if you choose to, you can let it destroy you forever, or you can decide that you're going to let it make you better. And I like to go with make you better, personally. But I like that, Shannon. Thank you. Julia Richardson, talking about her office mate, says she is obnoxious. I almost feel discrimination. She won't even let me get out a sentence. I feel the rivalry. Oh, she's like seeking all the attention. And is she like walking around wearing low cut outfits and showing her butt to people and whatnot? Let me know. Let me know if she's that kind of HSP. Shannon O'Brien says, Eddie knows. Great question. Did I answer that question from Eddie knows? I think I did. Wait, what? Did I miss that? Oh, I did miss it. Okay, wait a minute. Oh, I missed a whole bunch of things. Okay, here we go. Oh, the little kitten's here. He's not that little anymore. Hold on, I'm busy, kitty. Oh, here it is. Wait. Madeline, wait a minute. Let me just use my arrows. That's better. Okay. Sorry, guys. All right. Dora, Tommy. Okay, Malta. Life's Revival says, I'm grateful that maybe my kids will learn about narcissism and be able to heal. Yes, indeed, my friend. Very good stuff. Madeline says, I'm so thankful I'm educated on narc abuse. Knowledge is power. She's right. Coming here keeps me focused, and abuse in any form is not okay. We are above that, and that is right. Prakara says, good morning, Angie. The level of malice and evil that the narc imposes on a sane, normal person for no reason at all is unbelievable. Is it because they think sanity is weakness? No, it's because they would like to control you. They would like to make sure that you doubt your own perceptions and beliefs and thoughts. And if they do that, if they make you feel crazy, then they become your voice almost. You don't do anything when you get really, really into the middle of a relationship like this. You don't do anything if you aren't asking them first, checking with them. How are they going to react to it? How are they going to think about it? I remember even as an adult dealing with that with my first narcissist, the original in my life. I would try to make sure that I was getting approval on every single thing I was doing, and that was useless and stress inducing. Uh, you know, I think it's because they want to control you, and if you think you're crazy and you think you're not capable of making choices and decisions, that's where that comes from. Yep, that's what I think. Laura Curley says, I'm so sorry. Julie, Stop the Chaos says, I'm thankful for this group. Does a point come when the world doesn't feel so dramatic? I just want things to calm down around me. Yes. But remember this, your intentions matter. And I know you are in the middle of a big storm going through this divorce right now, Stop the Chaos. And I know that your family isn't helping and your narcissist is not helping. But I'll tell you something, intend to be calm, Intend to have a calm world. Okay. Make sure your home becomes your sanctuary. Make sure you have a place in your home that's just for you. Turn your bedroom into something different than it was before. Create calm around you and only tolerate calm. Don't tolerate anything else, and that will help a lot. Doreen B says, "Hi guys, mine says get over it too. Must be a fave." Oh, yeah. They'll say get over it. They'll say, everything is, you know, you're exaggerating, you're just being dramatic, it wasn't that bad. And later they might even say that towel wasn't even wet or it never even touched your face. They'll blatantly lie to you about what you experienced. That's part of that cognitive dissonance. It's part of that thing where they want you to believe something other than what's true in order to maintain control, I believe. Shannon O'Brien says, Julie K. Lilly, please take this seriously. Angie is right. This is violence. Exactly. Hey, Elizabeth. Welcome, welcome. Madeline Gutierrez Malta says, I like that. Thank you for sharing your inspiration and positivity. Agreed. Agreed. I am always happy to see Ms. Madeline here and anywhere else I see her. She's awesome. All right. Malta says, good morning, Elizabeth. Deborah Thurman says, yes, gentle self-care is important and it works. And I agree 100%. I'll tell you how I'm working on self-care right now. I have developed clutter in certain areas of my house, and so I'm taking one area a day, 15 minutes, and I'm not just throwing stuff around to different places. I'm going through stuff and getting rid of stuff that I don't need, clothes that don't fit, things that we don't use. I'm purging. It feels so good. And yesterday I got an entire garbage bag full of clothes and stuff that we just don't use anymore. And I've got it set out. I'm going to donate it. So I'm super excited. I'm going to keep going until I'm done. Anybody want to join me? I could maybe do a 30-day clutter challenge if anybody's interested. All right. Yeah, Kingdom Princess says, Julie, he hit you in the face. You do not deserve that. And I absolutely agree. Elizabeth says, good morning, Malta. Lauren says, thanks, Malta. I had to close the app and restart. That worked. Okay, excellent. Sue Cronert's in the house. Hey, Sue Cronert, how you doing? Good morning and welcome back, honey. And Mick, I almost said Mick Rash. Rick Mash is here. Hello, Rick. How you doing, honey? I hope you're feeling well. Rick says, good morning, all. I'm grateful for this group and knowing I'm not the crazy one. Yes, indeed, my friend. Jillian says, my narc told me to get over it, so I did. I got over him. Okay. I like that. I like that. Oh, Julie K. Guys, we need to help Julie K. Julie K. Lily says, he shoves me, chokes me, grabs me, and I told my kids and my counselor if I have an accident and die, it's him that killed me. I'm not even afraid. I'm so numb. Okay, Julie, you are in the middle of violent abuse. You need to get out immediately. Julie, could you please tell me in a private message or share it with Malta and he can send it to me or get on Facebook in the span group and tag me so I can message you. I want to find you some help. I want you to get out of there. There are things we can do. We can find you resources in your area. Please, please let us help you. I don't want you to be there anymore. Your kids should not be seeing this. Your counselor should have already done something. Aren't counselors mandated reporters? This is awful. I'm so sorry that you're going through this, Julie. Please, please, please reach out to someone. If it's not me, it's okay, but just reach out to someone, please. Shannon O'Brien says, I'm breaking through the identification with Ma's good side of the family. There was a lot of splitting by Ma when I was growing up. Oh, that's good. How's that going? Is it positive? Are you finding some decent people to help with that stuff? Elizabeth says, oh, well, Jillian. Malta says, Lauren G., I'm glad to hear that it's working and that you're able to join us this morning. Me too. Okay. All right. We did okay. See, now here's where I accidentally ended up at before. So let me just scroll down. Okay. We got that one. All right. I'm grateful. Okay. Obnoxious. Okay. Life Survival says, absolutely, Angie. Thanks. Good stuff. Good stuff. Freedom Lee is in the house. Hello, Freedom Lee. How you doing, honey? She says, good morning, Angie and Survivor family. It took a while to get back out in society, but slowly getting better thanks to videos like yours. Narcs try stealing your freedom, don't they? They are sad souls. They are sad souls, and the truth is that they will not They don't change. They don't change. Lee Katapano is here. Hello, Lee. Welcome back, honey. She says, "Why do I continue to question whether or not my 15-year marriage, 6 months post discard to a CN, I assume certified narcissist, was my fault, and that I have overreacted to what is outrageous behavior?" Because you were taught that. You were taught that everything you think, feel, and believe is an overreaction, or is fake, isn't real, isn't good, isn't right. You question yourself because you have been taught to question everything you think, feel, say, believe. Um, you know that it was not your fault logically, right? But your heart is like, I don't know, I'm so confused. Just remember, somebody said to me one time, there's the heart side and there's the smart side. And it really stuck in my head because our hearts, even though they mean well, sometimes they're kind of dumb. And sometimes they don't get the logic behind it. And so as intelligent people, we must logically look at the situation, Lee. And if you were being emotionally abused and or physically abused, it wasn't your fault. You were taught to believe that you didn't have logical responses to things, and that wasn't true. Tell me a little more. Are you struggling with a specific issue? How can you what makes you feel that way? And what kinds of things? You haven't overreacted to outrageous behavior, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes all of us probably could relate to having screamed at someone or even maybe tried to use their tactics back against them in order to make them stop because you get so desperate to just make it stop, right? But you cannot think that you overreacted. You were being abused. Just know that we're here and tell me if you have specific questions about anything. I'll be happy to answer those for you. Breon says, "I am thankful for my sanity. At the worst part of my narc abuse, I felt I was losing my mind." Me too. I've been there. I've done it. I've wondered about my I wondered about my sanity for 35 years. Yeah, that's right. Tommy D says, "That fires me up. A narc hitting someone, especially a woman, and in the face." As a Christian, he says, "I still want to punch that dude square in the face." Frustrating. Indeed. Yeah. And I think we can all kind of relate to that feeling of wanting to hurt someone that we see hurting someone else. But we also know that doing that will just end us up in jail and we can't help anybody from there. So I just try to remind myself I'm too pretty for jail, which is not true. But I I joke about it sometimes, that wanting to physically harm people, but I would never actually do anything like that because scary stuff. All right, let's see here. Wait a minute. Oh boy. I lost my place again. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. Tommy D. Eddie knows says, Shannon, yeah. And the truth is, we don't really know because every person is different. Every narc is different. They are all so similar, but also very different, of course. But when we can look at the parallels, right, between the different narcs of different ages, different races, different societies, different cultures, different religions, and they are so similar in those parallels, that's how we know we're on the right track. Yeah. Laura Curley says, "You are so amazing for being here for all of us that go through toxic and unhealthy relationships. You've really helped me. Thank you so much." And, I do it. It's a mission of love for me because it's something that I do because I didn't have someone to do this for me when I was going through it. So I don't even know that YouTube was a thing when I was going through the divorce. Nope, I don't think it was. Laura Curley says, "You're so amazing for being here." I already read that. Duh. Tommy D says, "I don't know which is worse, physical or emotional abuse. It's all degrading." If it was just straight physical abuse, I think that we could probably work through that a little easier. But there's no such thing as straight physical abuse. You're either getting physically and emotionally abused or you're getting emotionally abused. Not all narcissists, most narcissists don't actually physically abuse us, but there's a percentage of them who do, and those usually are on the higher end of the spectrum, on more towards sociopathic or psychopathic sometimes, not always. Sometimes they're just idiots who don't know better, but inevitably anybody who could hit a person and not feel anything about it would be a narcissist, because in our definition of a narcissist, it's someone who feels no empathy for other people. So Jillian is sending light and love to life's revival in the death of her ex. And Eddie Knows says, I don't think my narcissist father will ever stop hoovering or trying to hurt me. The same goes for the mother of my child, who is also a narcissist. I'm just happy that I now know what all of this is. Now, he may continue and continue. My particular original narcissist is a very busy person. So it might be why part of the issue. And maybe because I'm, really good at ignoring people. That could be it too. I don't know. Yeah. Stop the Chaos says, it's like I drew too close trying to help while he appears to be grieving the losses we share. Now, I feel like I've touched fire again and I need to step back. I show kindness, he tries to suck me in. Yeah. Well, I get that. I get that. But being aware of it and stating it out loud is important. You do need to step back. I think that's important. Showing kindness up to a point is acceptable. But certainly in this case, in the case of any narcissist, being kind is one thing, but you have to do so while you continue to protect yourself, because as you know, they try to suck us back in. And even though you want him to have a positive relationship with your children and you need to be able to sort of tolerate him in order to get along with him to help raise your children, you also certainly need to protect your heart and protect your life from being wrapped up in it again. So knowing this, you did the right thing when you called his mom. And that's the kind of thing that I would do in the future. Instead of trying to help him directly, send his mom a text and say, hey, I think you ought to check in on him. He doesn't seem well. And then don't respond to him again. Because the fact is, he needs to learn to stand on his own feet. And he needs to learn that he can't always depend on you to take care of him all the time. And that's what it comes down to. You're no longer responsible for his emotions. You have to remember that. Remind yourself. Lauren G says, great content, Angie, on agoraphobia. It didn't set in for me until I started getting PTSD. It would get worse and is definitely connected to narc abuse. Open to feedback on overcoming. Yes, that's coming too. Yeah, I'm definitely, my next video will be on that specifically, and I'll also be talking about social anxiety disorder or social phobia as part of that video, because I think more often than agoraphobia, we as survivors end up with that. And there's some slight differences, but the plus side is that I think social phobia is a little bit, I think you're more capable of helping yourself without drugs if you have social phobia as opposed to agoraphobia. And I'll explain all that to you. Okay. Doreen B says, my husband got physical with me for the first time in years last week. Oh, Doreen, were you very badly hurt? Did you report it? When somebody, and here's something else, for those who are dealing with this stuff, if you call the police when they abuse you and you file a report, they will be arrested, at least in the United States, and then you can file for a restraining order and then stay in your home with your children or by yourself or whatever in order to start to move forward. I would not allow someone to physically abuse you without calling the police. If you're not scared anymore, if you're numb, do it anyway. Call the police, because then you might actually start to have feelings again, and you might actually, Julie K. Lilly, I'm talking to you, girl. Call the cops. Get the police there. File a report. Take pictures of the bruises. Even if he just slapped you in the face with a wet towel, that's very painful. Call the police and file a report and have him arrested. They might not keep him for long, but you can file a restraining order. Take notes, document as often as possible. And it's a way to start to get safe and get free. You don't deserve, Doreen, you don't deserve it. Julie K. Lilly, you don't deserve it. Nobody deserves to be physically abused or emotionally abused, but physical abuse is an emergency. Okay? Physical abuse is an emergency because how many people have we heard about who were physically abused by their spouses or their other people in their lives and they ended up dead? It's not worth it. I know that Julie has kids. Your kids don't need to see that. If you continue to stay in that, you will show your children that that's okay. You will show your children that that is what they can expect from their spouse or to do to their spouse. And I know that you don't want that, Julie. I know you don't want that for your kids. So if you can't do it for yourself, do it for your kids. I sometimes have to use my momminess in order to get through the hard parts. And I know that doesn't help those of you who don't have kids, but if you have kids, think about your kids if you can't think about yourself. All right? Or your pets, even in some cases. Yeah. All right. Stop the Chaos says, I prefer emotionally manipulated over abused. I hate thinking I'm an abused person and he's emotionally abusive. That's so hard to wrap the mind around. I totally understand that. And I know that the term abuse is harsh and I know that it's painful. But sometimes, and Stop the Chaos, at this point in your life, it's okay for you to go there. It's okay for you to switch it up because you have made you've made the step. You've gotten out of the relationship and you're processing, you're getting through that. I know you're still in the middle of the divorce, but it's okay for you to focus on it being manipulation instead of abuse. But if we're being really honest with ourselves, it is abuse because even though they're not physically harming you, they are indirectly because when you're constantly dealing with the adrenaline rushes and the dips and the valleys of going through emotional manipulation, it causes your body to become harmed. And as we know, it causes a lot of mental distress and emotional distress as well, and can even lead to things like agoraphobia or social anxiety disorder, or, just a large number of other issues, including physical ones, fibromyalgia, heart disease, diabetes, overweight, underweight. I mean, I could go on and on, but I won't. But my point is, it's abusive. It is abusive. And I totally understand not wanting to be an abused person. You're not an abused person anymore. You have made the choice to stop the abuse in your life. So it's okay for you to say manipulation for yourself now. But those of us in this group here who are still in the middle of it, you guys need to recognize that it is abuse and it's not okay. I know a lot of you guys already know it and that's why you're here, and I'm proud of you for that. It is hard to wrap your head around for sure, especially because a lot of times, like, I know when I first realized that I was being emotionally abused by my ex-husband, I was like, really? I remember I was reading about it and I just thought, holy crap, this is me. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And I felt stupid and angry. Stupid because I'm an intelligent person and I know better. Angry because I thought I was a strong woman and I thought I knew better and I shouldn't have allowed this to happen to me. But this is what happens. It sneaks up on you. And before you know it, it's you. And it happens to smart people every single day. Some of the smartest people in the world are being emotionally abused as we speak. So you can't beat yourself up about it. And I understand wanting to not think of him as emotionally abusive, but whether he meant to be or not, he was. And you know it. Stop the chaos. And I mean that with all the love that I can possibly muster here. I don't mean any negativity at all when I say that to you. I hope you know that. Eddie Knows says, I wish I could heal overnight, but it is a process and it's a beautiful process. So I'm learning to love the process. That's exactly what it is. And it's okay. So, I wish we could all heal everything overnight, but the fact of the matter is, it is always a process. Always a process. Yes. Yes. Lauren G says, I suggest a gentle path as it takes a while to make progress. And when I try to push out too aggressively, it gets worse. I have CPTSD as well. Yes, indeed. Laura Curley, agoraphobia is fear of leaving the house, fear of social situations, fear of crowds, all that stuff. But it's debilitating. And when it gets to the level of agoraphobia, often you need therapy and medicine to get through it. I don't think we all have it that bad, but we could. I think some of us have what's called social anxiety disorder, and I think that that is more likely to be curable at home without medicine. We'll talk about that in my video later today. All right. Um, let's see here. I got a few more minutes. January says, wait a minute, I lost it. Hold on, I'll find it again. January says, I feel like my therapist does not have a strong understanding of NPD abuse. How do I tell her that I want to find a new therapist? The people pleaser in me doesn't want to hurt her feelings. Well, if your insurance company is paying her, then call your insurance company, tell them you want a different therapist, and find one who does support and understand you. I have a video about how to, excuse me, allergies. I have a video of how to find a therapist who actually will help you with NPD abuse and who understands it. And I'll try to remember to send that to you if you remind me, or Malta may put it in the chat if he's still here. Thank you in advance if you do, my friend. January, you don't have to tell her anything, really. You just don't make another appointment with her, or cancel whatever appointment you have. You don't have to tell her. But if you do tell her, then, I would just say it straight out. But it's really, I can really relate to not wanting to hurt people's feelings, not wanting people to be disappointed in me, not wanting to feel embarrassed around people. I can relate to that. But as I'm sitting here live streaming to you all, I can tell you this. You can push through it and it can get better. If you guys saw my 25K video the other day, early in the video, I showed you a clip of the first time I ever put my face on camera. And I was like this. I'm a little nervous in front of the camera sometimes. I was totally scared, even just I was in my basement that day, sitting in my basement, yakking to you guys on the camera. And it wasn't even live. It was so silly. But my point is, you can push through that stuff. You can. But in this case, you don't owe that therapist anything. Therapists, coaches, everybody gets clients who they don't connect with, or the client doesn't connect with them sometimes. And usually clients just don't make another appointment, or they complain, and then you either fix it or you move on. You know what I'm saying? Some clients don't work for some people, and vice versa. If this therapist does not have a strong understanding of NPD abuse, she's not going to be very effective for you. So don't feel like you need to tell her anything. Just don't make another appointment and move forward. If your insurance is not covering it, then even better. But I would watch that video that I did about how to find a therapist who understands, because the fact is, there are certain questions and certain things you can do to make sure. And that's going to really be important for your recovery, because the fact of the matter is that someone who has not experienced it and who isn't educated about it is not going to be able to help someone who has. So, not effectively anyway in most cases. Yeah. Jade O'Neill says, I was raised in an abusive home. My father was severely abusive to my mother and sister and I. It took almost 4 years for me to realize I was being abused. It didn't click until he almost killed me. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. And see, this is the thing. Nobody realizes, unless you're being like physically abused, which a lot of people have been, not everybody, most people. I think when it comes to your standard narcissist, there isn't usually as much physical abuse as there is a mental and emotional abuse. But when you realize you're being abused and you didn't know it before, it's very jolting. It's very shocking and upsetting to you. And you go through a lot of emotions, like you feel like I felt stupid. I felt like I can't believe I didn't see this, or I can't believe that I'm letting this happen to me. And, I'm too smart for this, and I know better, and I'm strong, and I shouldn't have to deal with this, or whatever, whatever. Well, I did deal with it. And a lot of you guys have dealt with it. And not one person in this room is stupid or incapable. It's just that we go through the hard stuff. That's why I say on my channel, this is narcissistic abuse recovery for smart people, because smart people need to understand the logic of it all. And that's what I talk about too. So I'm with you. Susie Bessie says, I think when they say I don't love you anymore, they have a honey on the side. I think sometimes that's the case. Absolutely, Susie. Yes. Yes, indeed. Or they have someone that they're at least, starting to love bomb and try to get involved with, for sure. Kingdom Princess says, Angie, what you just said about them abusing you and then telling you that they love you, I guess that is what keeps me confused and craving him. Indeed. Yes. I did a video about intermittent reinforcement, Kingdom Princess. I suggest you take a look at that because that's absolutely what it is. Yes. Intermittent reinforcement. Yes. Jillian says, when I was suffering the abuse, the cycles between nice and horrific became so short that every single minute of every day was a nightmare. She says, it became a normalized situation. That's when the most damage happens. That's really the truth. Yes, absolutely, Jillian. Lauren G says, it's hard when you have a hard time leaving the house, Laura. Yeah, it is. It's very hard, but you know what? It's a process. Like I tell you every day, it's a process. And sometimes I work so much that like I don't really I leave the house every day to do little things like take my daughter to school or whatever, but sometimes like I order my groceries, I do this, I do that. I don't even want to leave the house sometimes, and so I have to make a point of going, okay, I'm leaving the house today just because I can't keep doing that. So what you have to do is you have to constantly self-monitor. You have to constantly recognize that, okay, I've been through this stuff. Things in my life change, things get different, things are whatever they are. But at the same time, we have to recognize that we are human. And if you have fell into the habit of not leaving the house for a lot of years because every time you left the house, the narcissist accused you of cheating or whatever, well, then you have to go, okay, you get comfortable, right, in the house, and then you don't want to put on your shoes, or you don't want to, wear pants with a zipper or whatever it is that you don't want to do, and then you don't want to leave the house. So you have to make a point of doing it anyway. But I'm going to dig into that more in this video, and you're not going to just hear me go, well, you just have to do it anyway. I'm going to give you real solutions and ideas, okay? Jade O'Neill says, I'm so happy that I've gotten out after a lot of therapy. I am now in a healthy relationship and realize that is what I deserve, as do we all. And that's totally the truth, Jade. Thank you so much for sharing that. We do. And if we want it, we also deserve, if we choose and want to not ever be in a relationship again because things were just too much, that's okay too. Whatever feels good to you, whatever feels right to you. Maybe you just need a little bit of time to heal and move forward before you're ready for a relationship. I needed at least a year after I got divorced before I could even date again. I needed to stay calm, and I needed to heal myself. And I didn't even know what I was doing back then. I was not aware of narcissistic abuse. I just knew that something wasn't right there. And so I just worked on myself, self-love, self-healing, things like that. And then over the course of the years, even though I didn't realize at that time that I still had narcissists left in my life, eventually I figured it out. So, and then I started to really, really blossom, I'd like to say. Yeah. All right, let's see here. Jade says, I'm so happy that I've gotten out, and after a lot of therapy, I'm now in a healthy relationship and realize that's what I deserve to do. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Well, you guys, I'm telling you, I'm tired today. Jillian says, under these circumstances. Yeah, the most damage happens under those circumstances. That's right, Jillian, when it becomes normalized and when you know that's how it's going to be. And when it almost becomes comfortable to you to be, and not comfortable, but regular, normalized. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Eddie Knows says, geez, Jade, sorry to hear that. I can relate because my father is a narcissist. He abused my sister and my mom too. Yeah. Tommy D says to STC, I didn't like thinking of myself as a victim either. It's a painful truth, but it's real. I didn't see it all until I was out of the situation. And that's very common. I'll tell you something. Nobody wants to be a victim. That's why, you become a survivor and then a thriver. A victim mentality is a terrible thing, and you don't want to have a victim mentality. But what you do want to do is have a survivor mentality and to say to yourself every single day, I will get through this and I will be better when I'm done with this. It will get better every single day. Make an effort to have an escape plan if you're still stuck. If you don't have an escape plan or an exit strategy or whatever you want to call it, then start thinking about, is this something I could really do? You don't have to take action right now, but you can start to plan right now, and it can, anytime you write something down, it's more likely to manifest. I'm just saying in my own personal experience. So think about that. And remember, you can go to queenbeing.com/plan Plan, Plan, and download that stuff for free on my site about how to create your own plan to get out. Joseph Lee says, and there's no, you don't have to subscribe or even log in. It's just there. Just download it. Joseph Lee says, will the Narc Neighbor smear campaign be exposed by itself? I'm maintaining my silence for 2 months now. That's really hard, Joseph Lee, and I think you have to continue to maintain your silence and just do what you do. It's very difficult when you're dealing with a narcissist neighbor. Actually, I kind of experienced a little bit of that in my last neighborhood. It was very difficult. I eventually just stopped talking and moved. But I was already planning to move anyway. So I don't really know. I think eventually it could be exposed by itself. You just need to keep your head held high and don't pretend to be ashamed. Don't allow anyone to shame you. And if anybody ever asks you questions, you just say, well, if it's somebody who knows you and knows better, then you say, you know me, you know better. If it's somebody who doesn't know you and doesn't know better and they ask for your side of the story, you could tell it. But otherwise, I wouldn't bother because people are not ever going to people who are narcissists and who are doing these smear campaigns, they have been really digging into people's brains and trying to spread the crap. Often they do expose themselves, especially if you don't react. So if you want to give me some more information about that, I'll try to answer, but I'm just about to close down for now, but I will be back, of course, tomorrow for our Friday morning session. Stop the Chaos says, letting him back in, so not an option here. So not an option here. Good for you. But sometimes I wish I could just sit quietly with him and pretend like before I knew everything I do now. Oh, honey, I feel you. I do. I do. And it makes it hard because when you know what you know, you can't unknow it. I joke all the time that I love that I can understand people as well as I do, but I hate that I know the things that I do because sometimes, I want to not know that someone's thinking this or doing that or whatever, but I can see it in their face or I can see it, by the way that they're holding their mouth or whatever. And I get real frustrated, but I read people really well. So it's tough. It's tough. Yeah. Shannon O'Brien says, Eddie knows I tried researching how likely it would be for a no contact parent, or I think she means a narcissist parent, to stalk. The answer seemed to be no until I found a page that said if the parent is enmeshed, and then the answer is probably a yes. So a toss up. Yeah. Oh, the answer is probably, yeah. So a toss up. Yeah, that's true. I think that's absolutely true. The amount of enmeshment matters for sure. Life's Revival says, thank you, Jillian, for your support. Stop the person, Stop the Chaos says, strongest person I know some days. I just don't want to be strong. I guess I might need a 10-minute pity party and moved on with recovery. Hey, that's okay. You're allowed to do that. I sometimes have a 10-minute pity party myself. You're human. It's allowed. And you have to remember that in addition to all the other stuff you're dealing with good old hormones, and they go in these cycles and they sometimes make you feel like your life is ending and everything is terrible, and then you get past it. That's just part of, the hormonal cycles that we go through. So take your pity party if you need to, but then stand up and move on. You know what I mean? Give yourself a day if you need to, but then stand up and keep going because you want to be happy. Yeah, sure. I think sometimes the strongest people don't even know they're strong. I think sometimes the strongest people do not even know that they're strong. Oh, before I forget, Melina wanted me to remind you that she will be doing giveaways starting today and all the way through the weekend in the SPAN group to celebrate 25,000 subscribers on this awesomeness over here. So thank you guys for being among them. If you're not already in SPAN, you can join at queenbeing.com/SPAN. You will be getting, she's giving away books. She's giving away survivor bracelets. She's giving away all kinds of little goodies. So go over there and join in those contests. That will be super fun. Yeah. Okay. Eddie Knows says, Shannon, that's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that with me. The info we gather on how we recover. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Jillian says, yeah, Angie, I learned that it wasn't me through you. That was the biggest gift of my life. Thank you so much, Jillian. That is a gift in my life because knowing that I help anybody, even one person, and for all of you to be, it's just the best thing ever. Best thing. Makes my life worth it. Makes my work validated. Makes my choices seem not so bad. Tommy D says the manipulation runs deep. I was blind to much of it. Educating myself and learning about this helps, but of course it still stinks. Of course it does. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes. Doreen says, thanks, Angie, for the you can choose to let it destroy you or make you better. I need to use that as my mantra. Yes, indeed, my friend, but listen. Don't let him physically abuse you. If he does it again, call the police and file that report. Please think about it, okay? Joy Mo in the house says, you're amazing. Well, thank you, my friend, and back at you. Julia Richardson says she has the smirk. She's always trying to be the most feminine. She's shallow. Oh, yeah. I totally feel you. I have known people just like that. Do not even give her 1 ounce of your energy from this point forward, Julia. Just be you, do you. Ignore her unless you must deal with her for work. That's what I'm saying. I would only speak to her about work related things. If she tries to have a conversation with you, I would say, look, I'm really busy. I'm sorry. You don't have to be friends with everybody you work with sometimes, you know, especially if it's not your company. If it is your company, throw her ass out of there. Elizabeth says, Tommy, I can relate completely. Absolutely. Yep, me too. Jade O'Neill says, Eddie knows, thank you. Going through that relationship made me face my childhood wounds. It was awful, but I'm so much stronger now, and I've healed the childhood trauma I hadn't dealt with. That is something that I can also relate to. That is exactly what happened to me. After I went through a toxic relationship with an adult, as an adult, I was able to see the childhood trauma that I had experienced and hadn't dealt with. And I did deal with it. It was huge. Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of us go through that. Doreen says, I learned what it was from Angie too. Eternal thanks. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Joy Mo says, I have no choice when I have a child with him. You have no choice in some ways. You do have to continue to deal with him, but you do not have to continue to take abuse from him. You do not have to continue to have a romantic relationship with him. And the truth is, when you have a child with someone and you allow them to abuse you, the child knows it, and the child will watch you do that, watch you go through that, and think that that is what a relationship looks like. And guess what? That continues the cycle of abuse in future generations. So think about your child if you can't do it for yourself. That's all I'm going to say on that again. And I'm about to wrap up here. Shastina in the house says, made it late. I got to see this over again. Well, Miss Shastina, I'm always happy to see your beautiful self in here, and I am happy you made it even though you were a few minutes late. That's okay. I stayed a few minutes late today too. Kareen in the house says, hi, Angie. Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing? I can't complain. I hope you're well today, Kareen. And Malta says, hey, Shastina, good to see you. Tommy D says, I am grateful that I was delivered from my ex-narcissist after only 14 months. That was long enough. My heart breaks for those who have dealt with this for years. I am with you, Tommy, 100%. Malta says, I'm great, Kareen. Good afternoon, and how are you? Joy Mo says, I'm so tired of being strong. Oh, yeah, I can relate to that. Sometimes I don't want to be the strong one, and those are the days when I'm going like, you know what, I'm going to have a pity party today. It's okay. Sometimes, yesterday I was feeling kind of crappy all day and a little weepy here and there. We have our days. Everybody has their days. So try to remember that it's okay. Your emotions are legitimate and real, and you can, as a matter of fact, change your own life one day at a time, one step at a time. As long as you're more than half the time focused on what you want and not what you don't want, 51% seems to be the tipping point. Stay focused on what you want and not what you don't want as much as you can. And if you need to have a day or a couple minutes or an hour where you cry or you feel sad or you just like feel, then do it. It's okay. Your emotions are okay. You've got to let them come and you've got to be aware of them, and you've got to let them pass, work through them so that you can stay real and strong. That's the one thing that I think a lot of these, self-help gurus get wrong, is that, it's okay to feel your emotions. Now, can you reframe them? Absolutely. But if they're there, they're real. And you have to allow yourself to feel them and then examine them and figure out what you can do to change the feelings or the situation that created the feelings. Okay. I hope that's a little bit helpful. Angie L says, thank you so much for touching on this topic, agoraphobia B and C. because the ex was a covert. I had no clue for 16 years, and what I now know through education, I made a grave mistake by allowing him back while having PTSD. Yeah, yeah, of course, but you know what? Now you know, and now you can do better. When you know better, you can do better, as they say, and that's exactly what you have to see. You can't beat yourself up for the past. You can't change the past. You can only do better from here on out. You can't change the past. Don't dwell on it. Don't stress about it. Just keep going. Eddie Knows says, Jade, that's amazing. The same thing happened to me. It's amazing how people come into our lives and teach us things and show us our wounds. It's funny how the narcs hold up the mirror for us to see, ain't it, though? Good stuff, Eddie. Tommy D says, treat yourself to something good in life. Joy. I totally agree. Doreen B says, I think mine actually picked me because I was intelligent and it gets him off to get one over on me. Doreen, you're absolutely right. A lot of narcissists look for intelligent, attractive, smart, I already said intelligent, capable, often accomplished people, or people who have a lot of potential to be accomplished because A, they don't want anybody thinking that they would get someone less than the best, and B, they do get off on breaking us or getting one over on us. They absolutely do. Yeah. So and because we also tend to be empathic, kind-hearted people, we don't always see the mess that we're about to get into because we are willing to put up with certain personality flaws and stuff like that because of the good stuff and because we think we can maybe help them in some way. So keep all of that in mind as you're going forward. That's important stuff to be aware of. Um, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Kareen says, I am doing well. How are you, sweet lady? I'm good. Oh, hey, Bonnie, how you doing? I missed you. Good to see you. Joy Mo says, I would not even know where to start. Well, start with loving yourself a little bit. Start there. Eddie Knows says, Jade, they help us grow and become strong people. So at least they do something good for us, whether we like it or not. Yeah, I guess. Life's Revival says to Jillian, yes, the cycles are constant. It becomes total manipulation. I was so blind to it. I walked around asking why, what, when, how, extremely damaging. Yeah. Yeah. You walk around just like, yeah, we were all blind to it. Don't beat yourself up. Cosmic Mortality says, Angie, what did you mean exactly by Maya Angelou and Oprah's comment? Maya Angelou said, when they tell you who you are, you believe them. And Oprah echoed that comment. And here's the deal. If you look at anyone in your life, the narcissist may have said things to you at some point, like, I'm not good enough for you, or I'm a horrible person. Oh, yeah, right. I'm a terrible person. Even if they said it in jest or in sarcasm, some of them have even said I'm such a narcissist, like because they think they look good or whatever, which is not the type of narcissist we're talking about here. But, they'll tell you, especially in fights or like I said, in jest sometimes, or in self-pity mode, they'll tell you who they are. Listen to who they say they are. Yeah. Even if it comes out like, oh yeah, I'm such a horrible person, like that, they'll tell you. Sometimes when they're drinking, they'll tell you who they are and they don't even realize they did it. So that's what I meant. Shannon O'Brien says a clutter challenge sounds cool. Okay, cool. Bonnie, same deal. Okay. Oh yeah. Tommy likes it. Okay, you guys, I'm into that. We're doing that clutter challenge thing. All right, stick with me. We'll do it. Colleen says, Malta, I'm wondering if there was an empath show this week with B-Red. Okay, listen. So B-Rad and I are moving it to a different day because Wednesdays are too crazy for me. So we're going to move it to Tuesday starting next week. I apologize, and I'm glad that you reminded me, but we are not stopping. We're still in it. We've already got our content planned for next week, so stick with us. But yes, it will start back up again on Tuesday of next week. So what we're going to do on Tuesdays then is we'll do Talk to Me Tuesday still, but we'll in the morning session, we'll have B-Red with us, and we'll do a quick, we'll do our empath content, and then on Tuesday afternoon at the 1 p.m. session, then I'll be here for our usual coaching session that we have here each day. Yeah, Susie Bessie says, January, don't waste your time and money on a therapist that doesn't understand NPD. A life coach will probably be better for you. Yes, and that's true, except that very few life coaches actually take health insurance. And so she's getting her insurance covered, if her insurance is covering the therapy, she may not be able to afford a life coach. So there's that option. Um, that video explains how to find someone. I do coaching as well on an individual basis and have had a lot of really positive feedback on that. So if that's of interest, of course, I try not to ever, I'm never trying to sell anything to you guys. That's all I'm saying. I try not to do that. So I'm really here just because I want to help. And I know that not everybody, it's not always about money. Some people just do better in group support and some people just do better as is. But I think this group is really helpful for people who don't have the ability to get therapy or coaching from someone who knows. So whether it's money related or otherwise, here we are. And I know also that a lot of people who are still stuck in the middle of the mess, they don't have the ability to access their own money or the family money in order to pay someone, even if they could afford to. So that's another reason I do this. Yep. All right. Frog in the pot analogy. Yeah, Sue Cronard. I did that one too. Where I did a video on this at one point, where you put a frog in a pot of warm water or cold water and the frog swims around, everything's great. And then you turn the pot on and at first they're like, oh, it's kind of nice, it's kind of warm, and they start floating and being all, chilling like they're at the spa and whatnot. And then before they know it, the water's boiling and they're dying. And it's the same deal. Same deal with narcissistic abuse. We get in it, it's all right, it's kind of weird, kind of okay. It gets warmer, it gets better. We think everything's cool, and then before we know it, we're boiling. So jump out of the pot, my friend. All right, you guys. I am wrapping up for right now. I apologize for changing the time with Brad without telling you guys. I apologize. But that will be on, like I said, next week, and I will do an official announcement about that before then. Otherwise, I will see you guys later today for another video. I will be here tomorrow morning for our usual session, and stay tuned for some um, anxiety help. That's what I'm working on, helping you get over social anxiety and stuff like that. That's our next session, our next video. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys later today. Like I said, I'm going to stop talking now. Have a lovely day, everybody. And as always, thank you so much for being a part of my day and a part of my life. And thank you for letting me be a part of yours, because it really does mean a lot to me. I'll see you soon.